first, no, we not backing out of the fight in any way, shape, or fashion. The next one, do we think we're going to win? Hell yeah, we're going to win this fight.
He knows what I want.
So we know you're talking about Shakur Stevenson, who was live tweeting during this show tonight. Do you feel like after a performance like that, you're ready for that level of fight?
Oh, yeah. Because Shakur is not Renee. Shakur don't got the power like Renee. He don't got that dog in him.
He definitely made a mistake. He's a good young fighter, hungry fighter, but I hope he still take the fight. I'm kind of worried because he's not here. I was kind of excited to see him.
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning the upcoming title fight at 135 pounds between world champion Shakur Stevenson and up-and-coming challenger Floyd Schofield. Guys, before we continue, I'm going to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please hit subscribe and notifications? What that'll allow me to do is every time I create a video, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank you. One more thing I should mention before we get this thing going, I wanted to say, if you're really engaged with the boxing news day to day, be sure to check out my reels. I use the YouTube Shorts feature to create short little videos on the goings-on 24/7 of our favorite sport, boxing. All right, guys, since that's out the way, I want to talk about this February 22nd fight. In this video, I'm going to have tagged a video I did in early November of last year about why I felt it was plausible to create this fight, and that's Scofield versus Shakur. Watch that video, it's tagged. I give you all the reasons why I thought at the time it would be a good fight. Fast forward to right now, that fight's been made and the belt is on the line between 22-year-old up-and-comer prospect, now contender, Kid Austin, and 3-division world champion, Shakur Stevenson. So in this video, we're gonna check out what both fighters have been up to. We're gonna talk about the resumes, we're gonna talk about the pros and cons, we're gonna weigh both fighters side by side and find the strengths and weaknesses of both fighters as they prepare to go into their clash in Riyadh. Guys, we know the card's stacked. Earlier in the week, we did videos about Virgil Ortiz and Madrimov. We talked about how it's headlined between the two light heavyweight beasts, Better Bivol and Bivol. It's a rematch, and you could literally take one of many fights on this card and it could easily be a headliner. So today we're featuring the 135-pound fighters, and on paper, when you look at both guys' resumes, you'd be like, is this too much too soon for Scofield at 22 years old? Doesn't even have 100 pro rounds. His last fight against Renee was a pretty tough fight. He got challenged, he got tested, and it went the distance. When you talk about Floyd Schofield, you got to talk about his pops. Greg Hackett, the boxing coach out of Philly, calls him Auntie Sco. His father runs his Instagram and has been in Shakur's ear over the last year or so wanting this fight. And one of the reasons why I felt like this was a good fight to make, because a lot of the narrative about boxing in the current era is that the best fighters don't fight the best. But also we always talk about how fighters are afraid to lose their O's due to, people credit Floyd Mayweather going 50-0 and how he kind of worshiped that perfect record. Now fast forward to today, to this era, and sometimes you see guys babying that O. And this is my point, because you have a 22-year-old undefeated fighter in Scofield, and he's putting it all on the line. Now granted, in my opinion, this is a win-win for Floyd. If he loses to a top 10 pound-for-pound 3-division world champion in Shakur Stevenson. But if he wins, he becomes a household name. And I gotta give kudos to Shakur. The haters will say, well, he's fighting a prospect, not fighting anybody who's worthy. It's more of a charitable fight. But all that, what does Shakur have to gain? He's putting a lot on the line. He's risking a lot. But at the same time, hopefully the boxing media will talk about this. He's given Scofield a shot. He's giving him an opportunity, and I think that's the most important thing about this fight. And you're starting to see this more and more, and hopefully this will cause more fighters who are champions to give up-and-comers fights, give them opportunities, and more than anything, start thinking about the O like it really doesn't matter. Think about it as it's just a stepping stone in my legacy in my career. It's happening again in February with Keyshawn Davis fighting Dennis Baranchik. So you're starting to see guys who are world champions in Baranchik and Stevenson giving up-and-comers an opportunity to become a world champion. And those up-and-comers are also putting their undefeated record on the line. I think it's great for the sport. When you think about Floyd Schofield, you got to talk about his youth. You got to talk about his power. He does have a lot of tools going into the fight. The big questions and narratives are going to be, obviously, the experience, his big fight experience, and will he have enough tools throughout a 12-round fight to win rounds against Shakur. I feel he has enough power to keep Shakur at bay, to get his respect, but I don't think he has one-punch knockout power to make Shakur afraid to engage in the pocket, and that's going to be interesting. We've heard Shakur talk about over the last few weeks, he's going for the knockout, he's going to stand and trade, and he has a point to prove against Scofield. Time will tell, we'll see. Right now, let's take a closer look at Floyd. Guys, Floyd Schofield is 18-0 with 12 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 67% career knockout to win ratio. He's currently ranked number 12 in the world at 135 pounds. The 22-year-old American is an orthodox fighter standing at 5'7". His adoring fans call him Kid Scofield. We last saw him fight Rene Guiron, 20-3, UD in the 12th. Suero, 13-1, DQ in the 5th. Torres, 17-7, knockout in the 1st. Haskell Rhodes, 28-4, UD in the 10th. Leon, 23-1, knockout in the 2nd. Guys, nobody's gonna judge you if you admit, like myself, to say that you might not know any of those names on Scofield's resume. You might agree that his resume isn't filled with blockbuster fights, but at 22 years old, he put his hand up. He said, hey, I want this opportunity. I know that he has experience sparring Shakur in the past. For whatever you wanna weigh that to, something in those rounds gave Scofield, his father, his camp, the confidence to put their hand up. Like I said earlier, I think it's a win-win fight for Floyd. He goes out there, he executes his game plan. He's definitely gonna wanna cut that ring off, and he wants to get the respect of Shakur. Like we said, he has tools, he has youth on his side. I think he's gonna have the power advantage. He has the confidence on his side, and every fighter who's undefeated is gonna go into that fight thinking that they could win. And imagine if he does upset the masses and you hear and new. We'll have to wait till the 22nd. And remember, this is not my prediction video. This is just a video explaining the two fighters. Now let's take a closer look at Shakur. Guys, Stevenson's 22-0 with 10 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 45% career knockout to win ratio. He's currently ranked number 2 in the world at 135 pounds, and he is the WBC world champion. 27-year-old American is a southpaw standing at 5'8" with a 68-inch reach. We last saw him against Arm Harutyan, who was 12-1, UD in the 12th. De Los Santos, 16-1, UD in the 12th. Yoshino, 16-0, knockout in the 6th. Conceição, 17-1, UD in the 12th. Oscar Valdez, 30-0, UD in the 12th. Shakur Stevenson has won world titles at 26, 30, and 35. He talks all the time about wanting to be great. He's 22-0, 10 knockouts. He's in the pound for pound top 10 rankings all the time. And we look at who he spars with. Terrence Crawford is his mentor. So all of the boxes are ticked for Shakur Stevenson to one day go down as one of the greatest of all time. What he has to do to turn this narrative around, and I'm not one of these guys, I'm a huge Shakur fan based on his boxing skills, his defensive prowess. It's one of the things that I was taught as a 7-year-old learning this sport as a small kid in a steel town, was how to play defense. My favorite fighters growing up were Pernell Whitaker. So when I see Shakur Stevenson, I love watching him fight, and I get killed in the comment section for what I'm about to say, but I loved the De Los Santos fight. I loved watching an aggressive, ego-driven offensive fighter like De Los Santos not being able to execute his game plan and get frustrated against Shakur, and Shakur neutralized and negated all of that firepower. So he claims he's gonna go in and stand more, sit back on that back foot and throw bombs against Scofield. We will know that answer within the first few minutes of the fight. Shakur is a guy who builds into his fight, he plays defense, then he waits to counter. We know about the skill set, we know about his impeccable defense. In those first few minutes, we'll see if he told us the truth, if he's gonna stand there and trade and test the power, because everybody knows the first few rounds of a big puncher is when they're most dangerous, and that's when Scofield is gonna be the most dangerous. Shakur said he's gonna take him head on. When we look at Las Vegas, they're gonna say what they see on paper is how they make their odds. Scofield is a 7-1 dog. You put $100 on Shakur, you're not making nothing. You put $100 on Scofield, you make $700. They're obviously taking that resume into account. They're taking him only being 22 years old, and they believe it's gonna be too much too soon for Kid Austin. Is that gonna be the truth? Do you agree with that? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, when we look at these guys, their last 5 opponents, we talked about it already. Shakur's fighting for world titles. He's winning world titles. A guy I didn't even mention that's on his last 5, you fought him 6 fights ago, Jamel Herring, he was a world champion. Oscar Valdez, that victory has aged super well. Yoshino was a world champion. Shakur has the world title experience. They're both around the same height. The reach is kind of the same. You are gonna have that classic southpaw versus orthodox style. We always talk about what that front foot battle is gonna be like. The southpaw is gonna want his front foot on the inside of the orthodox fighter, and Scofield's gonna be trying to work his front foot to land his big backhand, while Shakur is gonna look to circle away from that big backhand, and that's gonna be the initial game. From there, will Floyd be able to carry the cardio through the fight? Will he get frustrated? Will he start to wear down? I put a poll up earlier on our YouTube channel, and a lot of you guys think that over time, Shakur is gonna wear Floyd down. I've been seeing a lot of people predicting a late knockout for Shakur Stevenson. I'm not gonna give you mine in the comment section below. If Shakur wins, does he win by knockout or decision? Let me know. When we think about the other side of the token, Scofield, if you guys are picking him to win, because around 40% of the people on the online poll thought and think Scofield will beat Shakur, does he do it early? Does he do it late? Do you really see Scofield winning by decision, or do you see him knocking out Shakur? Have we thought about that? Imagining Shakur on the canvas, knocked out cold by a 22-year-old? Do you really see that happening? If you do, let me know. All in all, this fight goes down February 22nd. As we get closer to the fight night and fight week, fingers crossed that both fighters stay healthy. I'll be doing my prediction video. For now, stay tuned.
All right, close the elbows back fast. That's a good move, but close back up. Once you throw, they're gonna throw.
When you just throw into the body, you gotta be real particular where you pick your shots. So I say it's just working on me, slowing down, controlling my aggression. But as y'all can see firsthand, I still go crazy in there in sparring. So we definitely taking the knockout power in sparring.